Psalm 77, 19 through 20. Your way was through the sea, your path through the mighty waters, yet your footprints were unseen. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Your way was through the sea, your path through the mighty waters. The psalmist prays this to God, hearkening back to the Exodus story. God led Israel out of Egypt and freed Israel from bondage and slavery. Israel was God's people, is God's people, and Yahweh is their God. And this Exodus story is unspeakably important to Israel. You see, the Jews, they understand themselves as the product of this narrative. Their very existence hinges on this story, the story of God's election and liberation. This is a crucial part of their salvation history. Israel's identity is contingent on Exodus. Israel has no identity without the God who led them out of Egypt into the Promised Land, fulfilled his covenant. I dare you to find 10 consecutive chapters of the Old Testament that do not make even a single reference to the Exodus story. It's not going to happen. You have references back to it all the time. That's how central the story is to Israel's understanding of itself. We Christians, we also share in this story. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, God has grafted us in. We too are God's people. We must never forget that our salvation comes from the Jews. Thus, the Exodus story stands imperative for us as well. So pay attention when the psalmist talks about Moses, talks about God freeing Israel from bondage. It's a pivotal moment in our salvation history. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Israel is God's flock. We are God's flock. The shepherd protects the flock, cares for it, and leads it. Jesus is our shepherd. He says so himself in the Gospel according to John, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Jesus laid down his life for the flock, for us. Jesus died for the flock. But Jesus did not stay dead. No, God resurrected the Son, and we, the church, must follow the resurrected Christ, for he is the good shepherd. He is our shepherd. Of all the shepherds, we could have been stuck following the good one, God incarnate, called out to us and said, follow me. We as Christians must follow the good shepherd wherever he may lead. And oh, the places that Jesus might lead us to. And Jesus might lead you anywhere. And you ought to follow. Jesus may lead you to the depths, to a place of persecution and oppression, into enemy territory, or maybe even somewhere you just don't want to be, or somewhere you don't feel safe going. You are still called to follow. This Psalm 77, it reminds us of that time when God led his people through the sea. In this story, God's path was through the mighty waters. In case you haven't noticed yet, this sounds a little bit ludicrous. I mean, God led Israel through the sea? Wait a second. What? Why would God do that? How does God do that? We can't walk through the sea. We're people. People don't do that. It sounds a little crazy, but it's not. It's not crazy. It's a miracle. The path that God takes, calls us to follow, is one that is impossible on our own. Israel could not go through the sea on their own. They must be led through the sea. The Egyptians, they tried to pursue Israel through the parted sea. They took the same path as God's people, the difference being that they weren't led there. They were not led there by God. And what happened? They drowned. That's what happened. God's way was through the sea. But now the sea, let's think about that for a second. Let's think about the sea. The sea is deep. More than a mile deep in certain bodies of water. The sea is mysterious. It's more it's about the only place the humanity hasn't been able to explore. I mean, we've done everything else. We've settled the world, we've mastered the earth, we put a man on the moon, put a rover on Mars. We don't know what's at the deepest part of the bottom of the ocean. We haven't been down there. The sea is a mystery. We don't understand it. It's unexplored territory. And the same people who put a moving picture on a screen and a computer in your pocket, they still haven't mastered, what the heck.